information with video 60,000 times faster than written form. Now, written form is vastly important for SEO and for content and just for people to read, people who want to read. But video, they process that information 60,000 times faster. So if you think about that from the way I look at it, is if someone's reading your information or looking at your video on your website, there will be 60,000 times faster or quicker to click your inquire button, click your book button, pick up the phone, whatever that would be. So the faster you can relay that information, the more effective way that you can relay that information, the quicker that someone will make a decision on you, your business, and hopefully get in touch. So 60,000 times faster, it's an insane amount. So that's why video, we always recommend video next to written content or on the page. Video specific to an experience or an accommodation or whatever that be, actually on that product page is one of the best things you can do as well. Lets people see what they can highlight within a sort of 60-second video, and that's directly on the product page. So the book button or the inquire button or whatever that would be is right next to the video or next to the content on that page. But 60,000, insane amount. So now, like I said, I don't like to throw lots of stats in here, but that was someone I wanted to highlight. So now, filming on any budget. So we saw there, people think Susan thinks it costs about 5k, Laurie thinks it costs about 10k upwards. And yes, you can spend that money if you want something highly polished. But even with highly polished, there's people out there who will do video for you for a lot cheaper than that. No, I'm in a lucky position. I edit a lot of my own video. I do my podcasts and everything else. I edit some of the videos for my clients, but I am not a videographer by any stretch of the imagination. It's all self-taught. My brother-in-law, thankfully, I get some tips from him. He is a video director. He's done lots of music videos for like Biffy Clyro, that type of thing. But he's also done videos for Calmac recently and that type of thing. So anytime I need advice, I can ask him. But with what I'm going to show you, you don't need to have that advice. You don't need to have high tech equipment. You can film in any budget, and I'll be showing you the examples of each one of these as well, just to give you a flavour of what can be achieved. And for me, and my brother-in-law actually says it quite eloquently, is basically saying, well, these days the quality of the video doesn't matter so much because of the way people digest content. Audio is actually the main thing. You should always have your audio at a high level as possible and a good quality. That is the main aspect. Audio can put people off if it's not done right, but the actual visuals can be rough. They can be ready if you want to. So that was just a little tip that he gave me. He says, focus on the audio more than you can do on the actual video itself. And there's various tools you can use for good audio and that type of thing. Little lav mics that can connect to your iPhone or whatever that would be. You get them on Amazon. That just makes the audio sound better, especially if you're outside and you're on a windy day. You can have little, what they call dead cat feet, the little fluffy things that go around mics. They're called cat feet. There we go. So you put them around the mic to stop the wind and that type of thing. So, but if you have one of them plugged to your iPhone, there's a wireless ones as well. There's a Rode Wireless Go, it's called. So you even do that wirelessly. Things like that are good to invest in. But what we're going to show you here is filming on any budget. And to show you that you don't need to spend 5k and that above. So the obvious one is to film on a smartphone. Now, these modern day smartphones, I've got the iPhone, I think it's 11 here. And even before that, they all film on 4K video. So one of the tips I'll give you later is any chance you get is always film in 4K, and I'll explain why later. But filming 4K video, it's really high quality. One of the latest Lady Gaga videos was all filmed on iPhones. That just shows you how good the quality has become in these little devices we all put in our pockets. They are supercomputers in our pockets, and they are an amazing quality now. So filming on an iPhone or another smartphone similar to that is not a bad thing, and it's actually proven to be high quality, so better quality than some professional cameras, to be honest. So filming on a smartphone is one of the things you can obviously do just now. Now, one of the examples I want to give you now is from Greyline, Iceland. So this was one of our clients, and what they did was they just had an iPhone, they set it up on a tripod, and they filmed a little series of Did You Knows. So these were little 60-second videos talking about Iceland, giving across some of the culture aspects of Iceland, what makes them a little bit different from everyone else. There was humour to this, as well as giving us some information, really getting across the personality. Now, the girl you're about to see in this video is a girl called Didi. And when I went to Iceland on a tour, Didi happened again to be the tour guide who was on this video. So again, it broke down the barrier. She was a funny girl on the bus trip that we took to go to various places and then see the Northern Lights and all that type of thing. She was such a funny girl, and you can get that sort of across in this. And it was great. And again, it broke down the barriers. It made you think that you were meeting a friend because you saw her in the videos, etc. So I'm going to show you her little video all about Iceland and one of the aspects of Iceland, which was quite funny. So let's watch that video now, and then we'll come back onto it in a sec.
That I feel sometimes that we Icelanders are misunderstood. I think it is simply a cultural difference. For example, do you know how to say please in Icelandic? We don't. We don't say please. It's just not in our vocabulary. We're Vikings, for heaven's sakes. Do you know the equivalent for please is gerðu það, which quite literally means do it. That's our please.
So I hope you get the idea there. I just love that little video. It's just very short, concise, gets across a great aspect of, hopefully you're able to hear and see that okay. It gets across a great aspect of they don't have the word for please because they're Vikings. No, they're hard. It's not please, it's do it type thing. And it's just a great way to highlight a little aspect of like Icelandic culture. And again, they filmed many of these with different guides all over Iceland, offering little tidbits. And they created a little video series for them. And these videos have had lots of views. They've helped drive traffic to the website, and they've got bookings from it. So it just helps highlight you don't need to do things in a high quality way. No, this was free. Basically, they filmed it on an iPhone, edited it themselves, and it is free. All it takes is your time. So again, doing things like this is easy to do. Filming on your iPhone, it's just coming up with a little idea behind it, which I'll help you later on in terms of how you can come up with some ideas around these type of videos as well. Another aspect, and I've got one of these, so that's one of the reasons why I'm mentioning this, is a GoPro is a great tool to use. It's relatively cheap at a few £100s, and that combined with what they call the camera grip. So the camera grip is basically a gimbal. And for people who don't know what that is it basically keeps the camera steady. So if you were running, jogging, or if you had it attached to a bike or whatever you were wanting to do, or walking even, it keeps it nice and smooth. So it gives it more of a cinematic feel, especially when you're doing panning shots, that type of thing. Really keeps it nice and smooth, and can give your videos a little bit of a higher quality just by having that one sort of panning and really smooth option. You do get these now for things like iPhones and smartphones as well, so you don't need a GoPro if you want to keep using your phone. You can get gimbals for your phone as well. Again, they usually come in at £200 or £300, but if you're doing lots of video, they are an essential tool to have, but not overly expensive when you think about the amount of videos and exposure and everything else that you could possibly get from that. So what I'm going to show you is actually a video that I shot when I was in Barcelona using that tool. And don't worry, I'm not going to bore everyone with my holiday videos. This is just one. It was actually on day 3 in Barcelona. We took a bus tour around Barcelona just to catch our bearings, see what was around, etc. So we can get a better idea. But no, anytime I visit a city, I always like to take a bus tour like this, because it just lets you see different places you can maybe visit, how far things are away, etc., etc. So what I'm going to show you is not the full thing, but I'll show you a snippet of it, maybe 1 or 2 minutes, just to give you an indication of how well the video shoots, the quality of it, and I'll explain a little few things off the back of this as well. So let me just give you a quick highlight of what this video looks like. daughter will kill me if she knows I'm playing this video to you guys. So she's a bit older now since then. So hopefully you can see, you know, the quality of that is in my opinion, is great. And that's coming from the GoPro. You know, when you see this, the panning shots of looking at the buildings, that type of thing, it really gives it more of a cinematic feel. And that's using a relatively couple of cheap pieces of equipment. No, when you think about the grand scheme of things, yeah, it might cost £300 for the camera, or if you've already got an iPhone, use a gimbal for that. It costs £300 for a gimbal. But when you think about the amount of videos you can use, just giving it a little bit of a more high quality, it's really a tool that's worth it. And it pays for itself. So that is a tool that you can use. And again, with that, it's free plus your time. I know I managed to source some audio, which I used on the video. It's very quick edits and produce the video as well. So again, it doesn't cost anything to produce a video, apart from buying a camera. But again, you would reuse the camera over and over again. Or if you've got a smartphone, use that instead. But again, just to highlight that you don't need to spend lots of money producing video, and you can get good results using the tools that are readily available to everyone. So hopefully that sort of came across. Now, this is a controversial one, and this is, you can use stock footage. Now, there are many libraries out there that obviously you can pay for stock footage and get reasonably good stock footage for different destinations and areas and whatever that would be. But I'm going to show you another example here and give you an idea of what it costs at the end of it. And I think you might be surprised. Now, this video uses nothing but stock. And just for complete transparency, and I'm not using this as a selling tool, but Curiosity is a company that I'm launching. This is a commission-free OTA for the tours and activities market, and it's going to be launching sort of mid-October. So we budget is tight like everything else. No, we have limited funds to try and promote this. So what we did is we created a video, and we used stock footage for the whole video. We got a voiceover and we got music for it. So what I'm going to do is show you the video and to give you an idea of the quality of the video using stock footage with the music and the voiceover combined. And then I may surprise you by giving you how much this cost at the end of it. So let me show you first to show you the quality of what stock footage can give you and give you that sense of realism. And then I'll explain some of the costs behind this.
Imagine a world where you could not travel. A world where you could not experience a destination, a culture, or its people. Imagine a world without the life-changing moments we experience when we visit new places. In this post-COVID world, the travel industry is not just suffering, it is on its knees praying for things to get better. And they will get better. People are simply too curious about the world and want to explore new places and meet new people. Curiosity has been created to help small local tourism businesses survive and grow in a post-COVID world. When you book a tour or activity through an online travel agent like TripAdvisor and Booking.com, you're giving 20% of the fee to the big travel agent instead of the businesses who provide you with the amazing experiences that make travel so special. With Curiosity, 100% of the booking goes straight to the local tour or activity provider. So when you're ready for your next adventure, visit curiosity.travel and keep the experience alive.
So again, that was a video we put together, all using stock. Hopefully you can see quality was as good as any professional video, in my opinion. Now it's mixed in with some professional shots, mixed in with shots that people have obviously taken on holiday, that type of thing, which really gets across a more truer sense and makes the video seem more real. But you might be surprised at what this costs. So let me just break it down. So Curiosity video, I wrote the script. So it was free. So no, it's just coming up with the script idea. Even if you did get someone to write the script, you can go onto Fiverr and find someone to help you with that really easily. You spend £20, £30, but for this video, it was free because I wrote the script. The music I purchased was from a company called Audio Jungle. It cost $24. So that music you heard in the background was $24. Audio Jungle is a great platform for purchasing music that you can use in your videos. And as you see here, that music was called The Emotional Piano, and it was $24. So there's many, many, many types of audios on here, sound effects, music, you name it, and you will no doubt find something on there that you can use. Many people use this, but that was $24 just for the audio. The voiceover was on Fiverr, and that only cost £52. So again, I just provided the script. I gave it to Gaz Kerr, who will read your script in a smooth Scottish voiceover. So he did the voiceover, pretty much nailed it in one take. What I did is I gave him a script. I happened to record an audio of me speaking the script and to try and emphasize some of the areas that I wanted it to emphasize. And he pretty much nailed it in the first take. So that cost £52 just for the voiceover. The footage was free. So that was from a service called Videvo, which has free and paid video. So everything I downloaded was all from the free side of things. Now, whether you'll find Scottish specific things in there, that may be a little bit harder, but I was using obviously various aspects. So I managed to get lots and lots of free video. And even if you were to use audio and use a voiceover, if you wanted a voiceover across your videos, and it's something that you filmed out and about on your iPhone to edit together, it still wouldn't cost you a lot of money. Again, it'd just be your time. So the footage on that video was free. So the whole video cost £70 to produce. That's all that cost. So we've edited that. We've got the landscape version. We've got a square version for some social media platforms, etc., etc. And we've just edited that down. So it's such a great tool, a couple of tools, and just helps highlight that you don't need to spend lots of money. It doesn't need to cost the earth. Now, we've used stock footage in this, maybe because of the type of thing that we're trying to convey. But if you were shooting video like yourself for free on your iPhone, you're shooting many bits of video all around your destination, experiences that people can have, it can literally cost you £70 to then have a voiceover, then have the audio. And it may even cost you, say, a total of £100 if you wanted to go into Fiverr.com and have someone write a script for you as well to then do the voiceover. So you can produce a video easily like this for £70 to £100. So we'll be going to be launching this video across various platforms and that type of thing as well. So again, just to highlight, it does not need to cost the earth. And the other thing, a good thing about stock footage is video backgrounds on website like this. So this was used on an Italian website. Everything was stock. And this was to just highlight some of the areas within Italy. This was just in the background of a website. Sometimes if you land on a homepage, you get the main banner at the top. And this was just sitting in the background. So there's no audio, it's just playing in the background while people are surfing and that type of thing. Again, you could use your own footage if you're out and about filming. But again, this is where stock footage could come in as well to really help get across your destination. It could be used for tools like that as well. So there's lots of good footage out there for free if you just source it. Then, of course, you can hire an expert. Now, you can go to the extremes of 5 to 10K, especially if you're doing like TV adverts, that type of thing. But you don't need to spend that amount of money either. So the video I'm going to show you here was one that we filmed. This was one that we actually produced ourselves for a company called Ace Adventures. So they do accommodation, they do activities, whitewater rafting, paintballing, all that type of thing. And they approached us to do a video for them, to try and convey all those sort of different things that they do within what they provide, within their sort of camp area and that type of thing. So we produced this, we hired an expert to film this. The expert used a mixture of handheld, drone shots, that type of thing. So what I'm going to do is show you this video, and then I'm going to explain what this cost as well. So again, hopefully help you highlight this. Just you with each video, you'll probably see a slight increase in quality, that type of thing. So, but again, it doesn't matter if you're on social, every single one would work. But let's show you this video first, and then we'll explain a little bit more. So that was a video we produced for Ace Adventures, and that cost £600 to produce. So we hired a videographer. They went out on site, took their drone, that type of thing, filmed the whole thing, and it cost us around £600 to get that done for that client. So again, you don't need to spend thousands and thousands of pounds. No, it just depends. It's just finding the right person who can do the video. You will get people who will charge thousands of pounds. Don't get me wrong, but we managed to do that for 600. So there are people out there who will do something really high quality for relatively cheaply. No, that's not a lot of money for a video like that. And that video was also broken down. It may seem quite long, but we've actually broken that down into minute-long videos, 30-second videos, that type of thing, and that's something I'll come on to a little later. So it was used multiple times, taking out certain elements. So we just showed paintball or just showed the camping or whatever that would be. £600 produced, and that was used multiple times in multiple guises, and it more than paid for itself. So again, don't need to spend huge amounts of money to produce these sort of videos. But the method is there's not one of those that are a hard and fast rule. No, it's using a mixture of all of these. So there is no harm in filming on your iPhone and getting that out there, putting it out your social media or on your websites, up until there's no harm in obviously using high quality professional videographers to do these things for you. So there is no right and wrong. Use them all, if you can, or use some of the lower ones, middle ones, high ones, whatever you want to do. There is no right and wrong. Just produce video. Produce video that conveys your experience, conveys what it is that you're offering without selling, but tells a really good story, really highlights what you're trying to do. No, the video there for Ace Adventures, I'm going to come on to a couple of other examples shortly, but no, I'm in a good position where I've judged lots and lots of videos and been a judge of destination videos. So I've seen a lot of videos that go around there, and time again, all you really see is sweeping shots of hills and that type of thing, which is good, but every video has that. Whereas the Ace Adventure one was showing you the experience. What can people have? You can see the smiling faces, you see the people, you see them experiencing the type of product that you have, whether that's an accommodation or whether that's a tour or activity or adventure or whatever it would be. Show people, don't just show sweeping shots of your destination. It's a bit boring after a while. So getting something across like that really actively shows what you guys do is more effective. So hopefully that sort of explains that yes, you can spend 5k upwards if you wanted to, but you don't need to. There's many tools out there that you can do it for free or for not much money in the grand scheme of things when you think about what that can do for your business. So these next couple of videos I want to show are part of the judging that I had. And they're some of the best examples. These two videos are two of the best examples I have ever seen when it comes to promoting a destination. And the reason why I want to show these two videos is to give you a sense. This first one is all about really conveying a good story by adding humor to it. And it's just a great little video. I loved it. It's highlighting an aspect of this particular destination, and I'll let you watch it, and then I'll briefly explain a couple of things at the end. But it's just a great video to watch. So sit back for the next couple of minutes, just watch this, and I'll explain a little bit later.
Fideus!
Carlos!
Dame.
Carlos Torres!
Hello. San. Oresti. Grigori. Yasu. ¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas? Welcome. Yes, very much, very much. Orea, portocalle. I took an orange. Thank you, Grigori.
It's just such a great video, a story told really well, gets across the humour and just helps highlight how welcoming the people of Crete are. Scotland are renowned for being such a welcoming country. Videos like this would, in my mind, would be great for this country. But it's just to highlight a really good story, good bit of humour, and helping highlight the hospitality what that destination has to hold. Now this next video, and I probably this will be the last one for a little while, and then I'll go into some advice. This is, from my mind, one of the best videos I have ever seen. And the reason why I love it is it helps highlight that you don't need to have video footage this has about 5 seconds of actual video footage in the actual video. What they did was they created a video using pretty much nothing but photographs. So they created a campaign where they asked for tourists who arrived in their destination to submit photographs, as many photographs as they could, of their time in their destination. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the destination because I still don't get it right. I don't do it justice. But they get inundated by tens upon thousands of photographs. They use those photographs in a really ingenious way to try and animate the video. And I'm not saying that you guys would have to do this or anything like that, but it's just to help highlight a different way of doing video, that you don't need footage. It can be done in a different way, just to help maybe spur on other inspiration or things that you can do differently. But from my mind, though, this is a video that I actually gave pretty much top marks. It won the thing I was doing the judging for. The other one, you just saw that, did win another award in the same category, but this won the overall one. But I just love this one for the reasons that I've just explained. So let's show this one, and hopefully get you. The thing I love about this video, before I show it, is I showed it to my kids. The music behind it is in keeping with the destination, but it's such a memorable audio track. My kids were still humming and singing this days later, which is always a good sign. But yeah, it's just a great video. Makes you smile. I think you'll find it hard not to have a smile on your face at the end of this video. It just makes you smile, makes you feel wanting to go here, and it's just a great way of what they've done and how they've put it together without using any video footage. In fact, like I said, there's literally 3 to 5 seconds of video footage throughout the whole thing. So let me show you this, and you'll see what I mean.
Tak 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 लगाए एमपी में दुनिया हक की हो जाए पैलेस मन मंदिर मन बन बंदर ताके 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 बाटे ग्वालियर लाल बाग गुरु 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 गुर्राए सकपक सक कान्हा सकपक गाए माते उज्जैन का डिंगा छप 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 जाए ओरछा कदरी का मोरचा अरे लेफ्ट जा थोड़ा राइट जा अरे लेफ्ट नहीं थोड़ा पर अरे ये ताजमहल कहाँ से आ गया भाई पूरनपुर में ताजमहल डबल पजल करो गूगल मंडू का महल देखो टाइटैनिक कपल देखो अरे राजा देखो और रानी देखो पिक 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 प्रेम कहानी देखो पचमढ़ी के किसे देखो लव 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 किसे देखो किस बुट्टे के किस सर सर्राफे का चक्कर हो जाए ओ चक्कर के चक्कर में शक्कर का चक्कर हो जाए कद काठी
लंबी लाठी
लम 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 लम
लमलम
बड़ा तालाब के
संग संग
दंग 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 करते दंग दंग दंग
धुआंधार फूटे
धम 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 तक दिन तक खजुरा हो थिरकाए
दिन दिन तक
आंखों में दिल में एमपी बस 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 जाए
भैया बस
एमपी से दिल भर भर ना भर पाए
धक धक
It's such a great video. I'd be surprised if you don't have a smile on your face. It's very well done, and it just shows you what you can do with using photographs, and just gives you another idea of things that are possible without using video footage and without using things like that. And it's just all about having a good idea, telling a story. And I think it's amazing how they've managed to find so many photographs to do this. It's incredible, especially the one of the father and son in the same shot with the background. You see him growing up through the whole thing. It's incredible, really well done. And I just wanted to highlight a couple of really good videos from destinations that are good at storytelling, good at humor, or whatever. Just great videos. Love them, absolutely love them. So now I'm going to give you 10 tips for recording video. So you can use some of the tools like iPhones, GoPros. If you have an SLR, use that as well. No, most video recording actually now from professionals are filmed in an SLR. They're that good. No, so there is no real excuse not to actually create video these days, to be honest. There's tools readily available. But these are 10 tips I'm going to give you in terms of recording video. And just help you along the way to make sure that you're planning and filming it in the right way. And these little tips can certainly help a long way. So the first one is to obviously plan ahead. So think about the type of video that you want to produce. What do you want to produce? What results do you want in that video to signify that would be a success? What are the KPIs you want to measure from that video? So have a think about that first, and that will give you an indication of, okay, I want this video to do this for me, so how am I going to create something that will do that for me? Who's your target audience? How will your target audience discover and watch the video? Is it going to be on Facebook, YouTube, multiple channels, you name it? What are the key messages you want to communicate? And then one thing I would say is never sell. This should always be about inspiration. People are looking for these videos, as I said before at the start, about people searching YouTube for travel ideas, experience ideas. They're looking for inspiration. They're not looking to be sold to. So just make sure that you don't sell to them. And again, what's going to be important to that key audience? Think about your target audience. What's going to be important to them, and how you're going to communicate to them. When you're watching the video, how do you want the audience to feel? Do you want them to laugh? Do you want them to cry? Do you want them to feel excited? Think about the emotional impact of what you want that video to do. And how would you like your brand to be perceived? Do you want to be seen as a fun, vibrant, adventurous brand? Or do you want to be seen as more serious? Do you want to be seen as luxury? Again, all these things, just have a little think ahead of what you want to do. And then obviously what product or destination do you want to highlight? Again, don't obviously sell, highlight more the experience, but very small indicators in there to a product or the destination and that type of thing. So just always plan ahead. Make sure that you've got what you're looking to achieve with the video before you start filming things. That's not to say you can't be out and about. Suddenly you see something that you like or want to film, you suddenly film on your iPhone or do something like that. Obviously that's going to happen. But if you're actively wanting to produce a video and you know the type of video you want to produce, just plan a little ahead. It just makes life a lot easier when you're doing so. And make sure you prep your team. So if you have staff members or anyone who's going to be part of that, make sure the team know what to expect of them beforehand. Don't let them just turn up and make it up on the spot or on the day. Now, there will be elements of that just happen because of the environment or because of what things happen. But try to say to them, okay, I'm expecting you to do this, I'm expecting you to do that. And just give them an indication of what that's going to be. So that minimises mistakes and it minimises any wasted time, and it makes you more effective. Now, allow your team to prepare themselves, as it will usually be the case that not everyone is super comfortable to be in front of camera. So give them time to prepare. Don't just suddenly spring it on, and I've seen it happen a few times. Don't just suddenly spring it on them, and just because people sometimes want to warm up or learn something or want to have a better mind and prepare that a little bit differently. Someone's who will prepare differently from what you do, that type of thing. So just make sure you prep your team. take more footage than what you actually need. Now, I've seen time and time again, people think I want to do a 60-second video and they'll pretty much record 60 seconds worth of footage. So, but that's not the case. You want to leave enough room for you to edit. We want to leave enough room for you to mix things around, maybe change things. Maybe something that you filmed and a different thing that you filmed may fit in better once you start seeing it edited together. So say you're going to record a 60-second video, try to at least record around 5 minutes or so of footage. That will give you enough to edit, give you enough to swap things around, try different things, or even if you're doing different videos, no, cutting one to a 30-second video or longer, just make sure you have enough footage. Don't record exactly what you need. Create more and create more. It just gives you more options. And also think about cutaway shots for your destination or experience. Now, if you're talking to camera and your audio, you want your audio and your speaking audio to continue over the footage. Again, this comes in conjunction with the planning ahead. Now, if you may want to start with you being in front of camera and then you start seeing other shots of things in and around your destination, think about what that could be and film all that and have that in your mind. And again, just gives it a more dynamic feel. And keep recording for longer. So this is one, again, what happens is someone's doing a panning shot, they'll get to a certain stage, they'll get to the end of it and then stop. Keep holding the camera there for at least 10 seconds, but prior to you moving and after you get to the end stop, because there are certain aspects, if you want to cut, you may want to move it slightly further forward or further back, but also when you're doing transitions like fades, for example, the footage needs to be 5 to 10 seconds, but preferably 10 seconds either side to allow the footage to fade between one part of the footage to another part of the footage. So you've got to leave it that little bit longer. So don't just stop recording straight away. Keep filming for a good 10 seconds afterwards, and then before and afterwards, and then that will give you some leeway for editing and leeway for any transitions that you're doing. Use the rule of thirds. Now, when you're shooting video more often than not, and it's unconsciously, when you're watching video, people are not necessarily always in the middle of the frame. They're either off to the left or off to the right. So that is the rule of thirds. So when you're recording, make sure that you have your main focal point in one of those sides and anything other than that, and the other side further away. So the rule of thirds is something, it's just a natural reaction. People will either be drawn to the left or drawn to the right to where the main focal point is. So here's an example. Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. He's off to the rule of thirds is off to the left-hand side. The background shots with the other one off to the right-hand side, but still within the middle of the rule of thirds. So when you're filming, don't have yourself always in the middle. Film it slightly to the side, and this will help just give it more of a professional feel. And again, it's where your eye is naturally drawn towards, is one or the other, where the focal point is. So if you're filming in the middle, not to say that that's a bad thing, but general rule is film to either the left or the right hand side. It just gives it more of a dynamic feel, gives it more of a professional feel, and it's where people's eyes are naturally drawn to. So it's just a little tip there. Film multiple takes. So if you are talking to camera or if you are doing something, especially if you're reading something from an auto cue or from whatever, or a script, film it multiple times, because you may find that the first take, you may think that was great, then when you go to the editing, you think, oh, I didn't realise my eyes were doing this, or I was pulling a funny face, or whatever it be. Do that same thing 2 or 3 times, and it'll allow you to then cut and splice the best parts together. And that goes on to my next point, which is using straight cuts. You can use phase and transitions, but using straight cuts it's more professional. Don't start using creative fades and things spinning and that type of thing. You just want to use straight cuts or very simple fades from one scene to another. It just makes it a more professional, having spins and other zany transitions that you can have. So keep it simple, keep it straight, or simple fades, and then it'll be seen as more professional. Now, when you're editing, edit to the music, which is key. So I tend to find it's easier to have all the video footage that I've shot, then select the music first, add that music to the editing software, and then edit the footage in time with the music. So if the music's got a particular beat, so it could be after every 2 seconds or 4 seconds, there's a beat to it, edit the straight cuts to that beat. So you could be 1, 2, 3 cut, 1, 2, 3 cut, and it's in time with the music. That just makes it more professional. It makes it more seamless. It just keeps in time with the music, and it's just a easy way. And that's not to say you can't have some footage extending over the beats, but if you're not doing it on, say, the third beat, you're not doing the cut, do it on the sixth beat, so you're still keeping within either that 2-beat rule, 3-beat rule, 4-beat rule. Well, again, it depends on how fast or slow the music is, but just keep it within time with the music, rather than trying to cut it in between a beat or anything, because it does come across as more jarring. So just cut to the music. So buy the music first, and cut your audio track to that, like your footage to that. If you can, again, as I said earlier, film, cameras and phones and all these different things, all film in 4K. If you can, film everything in 4K, because this gives you greater control. Even if you are outputting to standard 1080p HD quality or 720p, which is using a lot of social media platforms like Facebook, if you're filming in 4K, that allows you to then zoom in by around 200% without loss of quality, especially if you're exporting into 1080p. So you won't lose quality, you won't get that sort of grainy feel to it, you won't get that sort of pixelated feel to it, but it allows you. So a great example is when I'm doing my digital tourism show podcast and video podcasts. If I can, I try to do everything in one take. Doesn't always happen, but if you do make a mistake and then you continue the next part of whatever it is you're trying to say, by having that cut, you can then, because sometimes it's jarring to see the footage at 100% on screen. You do a cut, then all of a sudden you're doing that sudden move, and then you see, no, you can tell it was an obvious cut. But if you have it cut, and then the second shot is maybe you zoom in 200% or close to that to have a close-up shot of you, but you're still using, it's still using the one camera. It gives the impression that you've had multiple cameras on you, and allows you to have that leeway of, if you did make a mistake, you can cut, go to the next scene where you didn't make a mistake, zoom in a little bit. So it's and it also helps by zooming in and zooming out at key moments of what you're trying to do. It helps emphasize a particular point before zooming back out again. It just gives you more leeway. But if you can, film in 4K, gives you more options when it comes to editing, and just makes your life that little bit easier. Always film in landscape. Now, this is actually a bugbear of mine. So a lot of people film in portrait because of phones, etc. But when it comes to producing video, always film in landscape, because it gives you more options, especially if you're filming landscape in 4K. Now, when you're filming in landscape in 4K, you can obviously export landscape for standard HD or 720, which is that sort of HD but lower quality. But then you can crop that footage in to make it square for things like Instagram or Facebook ads. That's a tip for you. If you're doing Facebook ads using images or video, make them square. They actually take up more real estate on Facebook, and Facebook prefer, although they have just changed the design slightly, which is slightly wider, but in general rule would be square videos on Facebook. And then Instagram stories, Facebook stories would be more the sort of vertical. And again, if you're filming in 4K, you can crop these without having to film in different methods and different ways. You can use the one footage and then crop them to suit the different platforms, and then export that. So always film in landscape if you possibly can, because there's nothing worse than trying to produce a video for someone and everything is in portrait mode. If you try to zoom in and it's not been filmed in 4K, it's going to be very pixelated. You're going to see it very grainy, and so always film in landscape if at all possible. So tools to edit videos. There's many tools out there that don't cost the earth. They're very easy to learn. Like I say, I'm self-taught in doing this as well. So YouTube, a lot of people don't know, YouTube has its own editor and it's free. So you can upload your footage all your videos into YouTube, hide those videos so no one sees them on your YouTube channel. But then you can go into the YouTube editor, make cuts, add different bits of footage to it, add music to it. YouTube allows you to do that. So you can actually create video directly in YouTube. And again, that's free. If you're on a Mac, iMovie, free tool that you get with most iMacs and with most Mac computers. It's actually a really good tool for doing quick edits, adding music to it, creating little videos. You can't go wrong with iMovie from a basic standpoint. You'll get really good results from that as well. So if you're on a Mac, use iMovie. Now, I do use Mac because of my background. I use Final Cut Pro X, which is like an upgrade from iMovie. It offers a lot more features, but it's still very easy to use, doing straight cuts, adding audio to it. No, If you're doing lots of video, no, Final Cut Pro costs around £250, £300, and it's a one-off fee. Once you pay for it, you get free upgrades from Apple. That's the good thing about Apple. All the upgrades you get from it are free from that. So you pay once and you get all the different upgrades. So if, for £300, if you're doing lots of video, it's not overly expensive. It's a great tool to use. There's plenty of videos out there on how to use it. And it gives you more options with exporting stuff as well. So if you're using a Mac, I can't recommend Final Cut Pro high enough. That's the tool that I use when I'm doing a lot of my videos. And for PC, there's Power Director. It's a good tool for editing. It's relatively, I think they have a free version as well as a paid version, and you can create videos on that as well, probably on a par with things like iMovie, maybe just a bit of a step up. But there's tools on that as well on PC. So you can go from free tools to tools that don't cost you an arm and a leg. They're easy to use. There's plenty of tutorials out there on how to use it, and it can easily allow you to start creating videos and producing videos out there. So there's many tools out there that you can use. So next I want to explain how you can actually create content ideas. So this is the method that I teach a lot of operators, because what happens is my main background is we deal with a lot of tour operators. We help accommodation providers as well, but we tend to get mostly tour operators. And anyone who comes to us, no matter which line of work they're in, they're saying, I've got nothing to tell. Who would be interested in what I have to say? I don't have a story to tell. I don't have any ideas. So we go through this little process of, this is how you can create ideas. There's many, many different ideas that are around about you. You just maybe don't realize. So what I'm going to show you here is a made-up company in terms of to get across how we approach this. But hopefully this gives you a better idea of how you can create content ideas from what is around about you and within your own business as well. So first, we'll have a look at who is in your team. So for this made-up company, it's a food tour company. So they have the founder and owner, Bob Curry. Excuse the names for being a food company, all made up names. So we have Bob Curry, who is a former chef, a former tour guide. We have his wife, who's an owner as well, Lisa Curry, a former chef, has a finance background. And we have 4 tour guides: Simon Bacon, who's a food tour expert; Maggie Baker, who is again a food tour expert but speaks French. We have Ali Ale, who's a beer tour expert; and Kyle Cask, who knows everything about whiskey and gin tours. So have a look at who's around about you, see what their main skill sets are, and create a little list of what those skills could be. Then break those skills down even further. So the owner and the chefs, they run a business. They do business development. They take cooking classes. They actually provide some of the cooking classes as part of their experience. They manage any external cooking classes as well. One of the tour guides obviously talks to customers about food tours. They specialise in the Glasgow West End. They're born and raised in Glasgow's West End, so they know that area very well. And they happen to be a qualified sommelier as well, so they know a lot about wine. Second tour guide, again, obviously knows more about food, specialises in Glasgow's city centre rather than the West End. He manages, or he or she manages French tourists because they speak French. Happens to be a vegan, so could advise the tourists on their where's a good places to eat for vegan food, and has that sort of aspect to them as well. Any beer tours, obviously they know about beer tours. They help develop any new tours around beer, etc. They know lots about beer tasting. They're experts in that, talking about the different types of beers, what they contain, how that pairs up with food, etc., etc. And then similar with the whiskey and gin. Knows all about that, all about whiskey and gin. So it talks about that on their tours, etc. And again, pairing that with food. So hopefully you can start to see where using the skill sets within your own business, using the people who are in your own business, even if you're a one-man band or a one-woman band, what skill sets do you have? What can you do then to get across in terms of your own experience and the products that you have? Then look around your destination. What are the main highlights? No, city centre, we've got Glasgow Cathedral, George Square, the Merchant City, etc., etc., etc. Then in the West End, we've got Byres Road, Ashton Lane, Kelvin Grove Art Gallery, all the different things where they maybe take people out on tour during the tours that they do. And that helps highlight different destinations that you can maybe talk about or highlight within products and that type of thing as well. Even look at your partners. So for this company, they obviously do food tours. They go to various establishments. have a look at your partners in terms of other businesses in your area who you could partner up with, or if you have any partners already, and how you can combine that in with the content that you can maybe produce as well. So one of the partners is a Ubiquitous Chip Restaurant and Bar. They have one of the largest whiskey bars in Glasgow. Chef Ramsay there provides cooking classes. Callum Mackay is a top sommelier there. They have free bars on the premises. And there's so many of these stories going around, whether it's true or not, it doesn't matter. It could be part of the story that you're telling. J.K. Rowling supposedly based Diagon Alley on Ashton Lane. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but that's something that could be discussed on a video. Ox and Finch, again, large gin bar, tapas-style food, owned by a former chef of McLaren F1, has a private dining area, and they provide cooking classes as well. Tiki bar, you get to see what we're trying to do, but rum bar, talk about flaring classes in terms of mixing drinks, that type of thing. So you can sort of see, there's one that's obviously based on jazz music as well, so you can start to see a pattern here. You can start to see, okay, there's lots of things that we could be talking about, lots of different destinations that we could be talking about, lots of different aspects that our partners could be talking about within the videos as well. So some videos to create is you could be creating an expert series, cooking with the curries, whatever your main experience is, you could be talking about that and getting that across on video. Whiskey tasting videos, beer tasting videos, gin tasting videos, talking about vegan food, craft beer, talking about the destination as a whole. There is a plethora of information that you probably have at your fingertips that you don't realize that you could be talking about and doing a regular video series and getting that out there on YouTube, on your websites, etc., on your Facebook channels and Facebook groups, whatever that would be. There is many aspects and many different types of content that you could be talking about just right now. That if you just sit back and say, okay, here's the skills I have, here's what my destination has, here's the partners that we have, how can we combine all that together to create 1, 2, 3, 4 different types of video series that you can start producing and getting out there. Videos could be 60 seconds long, they could be 5 minutes long, whatever you want to do. Plan that out ahead and start producing this content. And it's very easy to do so within your own skill sets and within what's in your immediate area, without having anyone who comes to me and says, I've got nothing to talk about. I always put them through this process, and it's amazing what they can actually, when you start writing out the different things that they do in business, the different things that they have in their destination, they come up with lots and lots of content. It really just opens up their eyes. One great example of this, I'll show you this little example as well, is Wine Dine Caroline. She offers lots of little videos all about wine. That's her main focus. And our videos are informative, they are funny, they're not overly long, and they just really get across her feelings of wine, her expertise, her personality. And again, she does it in a very informative but fun way. So the video I'm going to show you here is her talking about wine, about putting ice cubes in wine, and it's obviously white wine, and why that's not overly a bad thing, and really sort of gets that across. I'll let you show the video first. It's great, it's fun, and hopefully you get to see, by using her expertise and using her skills, how she's been using this to create video.
Shame on you! Hi, I'm Wine Dine Caroline, and sometimes I put ice cubes in my wine. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and share it with your friends. To go with this video, I've made a special downloadable resource that'll show you 3 ways to chill your wine fast. You can find the link below. Just in time for summer, let's talk about putting ice cubes in your wine. Now, a lot of wine snobs will tell you that it's impossible! They wouldn't dare put ice cubes in wine! Shame on you! I tell these people to f*** off. If your wine is too warm and you want to cool it right down, pop an ice cube in it. 2 things happen when you put an ice cube in wine. The first is that the wine gets colder. The second, logically, is that the ice cube slowly melts. This is the part that the wine snobs get very upset about. Yes, ice cubes will slightly dilute your wine. I'm not suggesting you put ice cubes in Grand Cru Burgundy, but if you're a normal person drinking normal wine and you don't care if the wine gets a little diluted, then just put an ice cube in it. It's not a big deal. I do it all the time. Hope you liked this quick summer tip from me. Make sure to get my guide for chilling wine fast. The link is downstairs. Cheers.
So hopefully you see that it's fun. You can get across her personality. Gets across very quickly one aspect of wine that she wanted to talk about. And I just love the videos that she does. And it's just a great example of using your expertise to get something across in a fun way. So, and the fact is that she tied that in with a downloadable guide saying that people can download that, capture their email address, which is all good for marketing. And you can probably see there that she used very fast cuts. So she spoke about one part, cut, maybe blew up slightly, spoke about another part, cut, I think just help emphasize things. She maybe made a mistake and did those really quick cuts. So things like that can work very fast, straight cuts, really quick, gets across a message in a really effective way. And our videos do really well, and it's helped her grow her business and be recognized within the industry and fight against the wine snobs, as she calls it. So now I'm going to come on to one of the last aspects of the workshop, and that's how you can create what I call a content pyramid. So this is creating over 100 pieces of content from one video. So with Ace Adventures, I mentioned that we created a 2 to 3 minute video for him. And then that was broken down into multiple different videos. So there was 30-second videos to highlight paintballing, highlights camping or the rafting or whatever that would be. And then we had that broken down into further videos as well and that type of thing. So what I'm going to do is show you the different types of things that you can do with video like that to help you spread across multiple different platforms, but also spread that across multiple different days. Now, if you're creating a video and you're creating a campaign, you don't need to post it up on multiple platforms all on the same day. Stagger it. That way it allow you to sort of see which platforms have been more successful, allow you to see the different aspects of, and just helps you manage it easier as well. No one's got time to manage multiple different platforms all at the same time, viewing comments and everything else. If you stagger it out and you plan it out, you could create up to 100 pieces of content and put that out once per day and create 100 days worth of content. So one video can have you posting stuff up on various different platforms for over 3 months. And if you do these multiple times, then that'll be multiple different videos going out in different days over those months. So initially you would have your 2 to 3 minute video. That would be your main video, your main campaign that you want to show, like some of the ones I've just shown there, like Ace Adventures. So you would post that one on Facebook, on YouTube, on your website, and maybe another blog or whatever that would be, or Instagram, for example. So that could be 4 or 5 different channels that you could be posting up, one per day, each channel each day. So that's 5 videos already you've got on there from that 2 to 3 minute video. You then break those videos down into 2 1-minute videos. So taking 2 aspects and breaking it into 2 1-minute videos or 60-second videos, 4 30-second videos, and then 6 15-second videos. So you'll then have the main video going out 4 or 5 times in different platforms if you're using that. You can have 2 further videos going out onto, again, the different platforms for different posts, etc. 4 30-second videos, each going on to the different platforms, as well as the 6 15-second videos for things like Snapchat, that type of thing. I'm not saying you need to use all of these platforms, but it's just to give you an indication of what can be possible. So again, with all that, you've got multiple videos going out on multiple platforms. If you were posting out once per day, you would probably reach about 2 months worth of content there already, maybe 1.5 months worth of content there going out once per day. But then you can break that down even further. Take stills from some of your videos, add little quotes to it so people, and post them up on your various social media platforms. People could share them. So that's another great way of reusing some of the footage, or even creating little animated GIFs. So taking 4 or 5 seconds of the footage. We've seen all the Instagram boomerang things where people are moving, that type of thing. Take some of your footage, create that with them. Just take little snippets of it to create little ads, whatever that would be. Do images, do GIFs, do memes, do 15-second videos. All that combined will give you so many days worth of content. It's incredible. And that's all from one video, all from one campaign, just breaking that down into the different videos. And again, it's easy to do so using some of those tools that I've shown you. Create your main video first. Then once you've exported that, you can import that video into your editing tool and then start breaking that down into relevant little chunks and little bits of information that you can use to post across different social media. But then there's a step further from this as well. Audio podcasts. Podcasts are huge. Podcasts are massive. especially things on iTunes and Spotify and Amazon Music now are taking on podcasts and that type of thing. With the advent of Alexa and all these other tools, just being able to listen to something. I listen to a lot of podcasts as I'm working in the background, that type of thing. Podcasts are massive. So if you can imagine doing a video on whiskey tasting or wine tasting, or what Wine Dine Caroline does as well, she could easily take the audio from that video, which you can extract, and then upload that into a platform to allow it to become a podcast. And then that audio would then get distributed out to all the many different platforms. The platform that I use is called Audio Boom, audioboom.com, I think it is. You can upload your audio into that, give it an image for its sort of cover, a little brief description, and then once you've uploaded it into Audio Boom, that will distribute it out to many, many platforms that are out there. And again, it's just another way of interacting with your customer, offering some advice, some things like that as well. So to give you a bit of a background of how all this works, and it's what I install in a lot of, or try to install in a lot of the customers who we help. So 3 or 4 years ago, I made the conscious decision to produce lots and lots of content through video and podcasts and everything else. And to cut a long story short, it took 18 months to 2 years to really take hold. So don't get me wrong, it is a long-term game. But now it's got to the stage 3 to 4 years down the line that most of the leads that my business gets, it's all through the content, through video, through the podcasts. We don't really do much in terms of paid advertising ourselves. And this is what we try to install in our customers to say, yes, that's important, you have to do that. But ultimately, if you create this bank of content, if you keep at it, be persistent at it, and relatively it's easy to do with the various devices and things that I've shown you already, and you can get decent quality. Through time, people will come to you because they'll see you as an authority within your industry. And the more people who come to you, the more visibility you get, the more chances are people will book with you or they'll come to you without you having to pay for advertising, because it will all come from natural content and content that they find online, they find through your website, they find on YouTube, they find on Facebook. That is ultimately the goal that you want to get to. So this is where video content can help. This is where you create a video, think about how that can be broken down, split up into different aspects for different platforms, and just be seen in as many platforms as you possibly can or you wish to manage. They say it takes around 7 touch points for a customer really to take notice of you. So 1 minute they could be on YouTube, the next minute they could be on Facebook, then they could be on your website, and then they could go away and do something else, then they could come back, think of all the different places that your customers could possibly be on, and then start adding content to that. So once you've done content once, it's just a matter of distributing that to the various different types of platforms. But it's all really about story. So you really need to have a good story behind it. Yes, you can do little quick videos just to get things out there, but think about the story you can have behind that, the experience that you can show, the expertise that you can show across on your videos, like I've shown you some of the videos here. Just think about that. Think about what you can get across, and that is the main aspect. Keep people engaged. People always say to me, what's the ideal video? Is it 60 seconds? Is it 2 minutes? If it's 3 minutes? Some platforms will allow you to have 60 seconds, so that's what you need to consider. But in my mind, there is no real sweet spot for a video in terms of the length. As long as you're telling an engaging story, and as long as it grips people, it could be any length, really. As long as people don't switch off halfway through, if it grips them, it keeps them engaged, that is all that really matters. But it's all about story. Just have a think about what you want to do. And that's where all the planning stage comes in. And think about what you want to say, what you want to do, what you want to be seen as an authority within your industry, and get that across in an effective way. And then you can film in an iPhone, you can film in a GoPro, you could do it professionally if you want, but you don't need to. And hopefully I've shown you that there's ways to film for free without having to pay 5K or 10K or anything anywhere near like that. You could do it relatively cheaply or for free, as I've shown. So in summary, video helps you create long-lasting relationships. It can help not just with the people within your business, but your customers with your business. It helps build up those relationships and builds up strong relationships. It gets your message across a lot faster, so 60,000 times faster than written form, as I've already highlighted. So it's a huge amount. So video is vastly important, and as I say, one of the best marketing tools you can use. Video can be done on any budget, so there is no excuse not to use video. So if you're saying to yourself, I can't use video, it's expensive, or I don't have any ideas, there is no excuse. Film on an iPhone, there is no right and wrong. just go out there and do it. You may not get it right straight away, but the more you do it, the more comfortable you'll become, and then people will like what you do and that type of thing. So just get out there and do it and record video. There is no excuse, as I say. And get inspiration from what's around you. Look at what's around you, look at your staff, look at your destination, look at your partners, look at anything that you can do to gain inspiration from. Now, if you are running an accommodation, or if you're an accommodation provider, and you have places around about you, it's all about nature or animals or anything like that. If it's big for that, talk about that. No, talk about bird watching or anything like that. So have someone who's an expert within that and tie that in with your business. No, people love that sort of stuff. No. Sometimes we go to places where we know there's going to be clear skies, so we can see the stars. I love the stars, I love astronomy and that type of thing. See that side of things as well. No, there's nothing better than being able to look at the stars with a glass of wine, sitting in a hot tub. I love that aspect of it. So think about what's around you. Think about the different types of stories that you can tell and the different types of experiences that you can highlight. Again, story is all that matters. How you record, the types of devices you record on, does not really matter. It's all about the story. As long as you can grip people, you can tell a story in a most effective way. That is what's going to draw people in. That is what's going to let people remember your business and what you offer. So think about the story and think about what you can get across in a more effective manner. So hopefully that gives you a good indication of how you can record video, how you can get across video in a more effective way without breaking the bank, and give you some ideas of how you can create the ideas around about creating video. So the next one, next week, is all going to be about Facebook advertising. This is going to be a really good one in my opinion. So this will give you a breakdown of my thoughts of how to use Facebook advertising, which is it's quite different from what a lot of other people do. And it's the better approach of the way I see of approaching approaching Facebook. I'll give you live examples of customers who have helped in the past to show you the results of what they've had as well. So it should be quite a good one if you're wanting to know more about Facebook, how to drive leads, how to drive sales, the different methods. And it'll be quite an important one if that's an aspect that you want to try and run. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully I got across what I was trying to convey. And if anyone's got any questions, I'll love to answer them now. Let's have a little look, see if there's any questions.
Unusually, no questions. That's good though, isn't it?
I don't know if that's good or bad.
that means everyone took it all in.
Well, let's just get one coming, apparently. Thanks, Lisa. I'm glad you enjoyed the session. I wanted to show a good mixture of examples, because I felt that, especially if you're talking about video, I thought it was really important to show examples, but I didn't want to fill up the whole thing just with showing videos. So hopefully the advice I've given, I could have gone in and showed you how to edit videos, but I don't think this is a workshop for that. It's more about how you can create the ideas, the different types of methodology and methods that you can use to create video. And there's not a lot in terms of, there's not a lot to hinder you from doing videos. And just trying to show you the different options of how easy it is to actually do. So you don't need to spend 10K to do ads.
I loved the Taj Mahal clip. Was brilliant. That did make me laugh. I thought that was
that's what I'm saying. I love that video. It just puts a smile on your face. And like I say, my kids were singing and humming that tune, even though they didn't understand the words. They were doing it for days on end, and it was a video that they remembered. And for me, that's key in a video. They just remembered it. They remembered the music, and they wanted to see it over and over again because they loved it. And it's again showing a good video without the use of video footage and just using photographs. It was a great campaign, really good campaign. Lucy, I think, is that a question? Could I ask a question as follow-up from last week? Don't want to move away from. If you've got a question from last week, no, feel free. Colin. Excellent content and advice. Thank you. Inspirational. You're very welcome, Colin. Thank you. And same with you, Julia. So thank you. So any questions, please feel free. You've got me for the next 30 minutes if need be, or 20 minutes if need be. So is your ads going out at all yet for you guys?
Yeah, absolutely it has. We got our halfway through the campaign or 2/3 of the way through the campaign update today from Sky, and it's been seen so far by 60% of our target audience, which is good in terms of where we are. Lots of views of it right through, because they don't count it as a view until it's been properly watched. That you can't just show it and switch it off after a minute. So it's looking good. I think it's difficult to measure at this point. I think it's difficult to measure the throughput, because of course, if people are then inspired to just search Murray Speyside, then they will find whatever they'll find. So a general indication of increased appetite. Our analytics are certainly that there's a significant spike in search terms and that kind of stuff. Good referral traffic. It's all looking good.
Excellent.
I guess, though, the announcements around lockdowns and restrictions and things, obviously putting a bit of uncertainty with people. So
yeah, we spoke about this
abound.
just before we came on. Yeah, we spoke about it just before we came on. So I believe for accommodation providers, no, again, this may change, but I believe, because we're looking as well for my family and one of my friends to go and stay somewhere in Scotland. And with the hot tub, see the stars, the usual thing as I mentioned earlier. We were worried about that as well. But apparently, well, this is true or not, but apparently you are able to go to accommodation with another household for commercial reasons. So I'm hoping that is still the case. So.
Well, it was when we came on this, but it appears that it may not now be. So before we came on here, I was listening, as I'm sure many others were listening, to Professor Jason. And Professor Jason said exactly the opposite of that, which is at variance to the legal list that was delivered out yesterday afternoon. So there's some clarification required to be happening just now. The exact wording of yesterday's legal clarification was the bans visiting other households indoors will not extend to self-catering accommodation. This is also the case for all non-private dwellings, hotels, hostels, member clubs, boarding houses, or beds and breakfasts. The new restrictions apply to people's homes, not commercial accommodation businesses. Commercial accommodation is not included in the ban. So quite clear. But today's Jason Leach on the Kay Adams show, I think it was Jackie Bramble's name. Jason Leach, and I heard him say it to a caller. Maisie and Mildred are both going to the same self-catering. Apparently they couldn't. So the Self-Catering Association are away now, as we speak, seeking urgent clarification, because clearly one interpretation of that has really significant impact for self-catering accommodation. And if he's got it wrong, that's bad, but forgivable. Whereas if the government got it yesterday, that's not good and almost unforgivable. So we need to sit tight and wait and see.
But then I wouldn't say it's all lost. No, for families like myself who want to do something like this in October, for example, it's obviously Nicola Sturgeon has said, or recommends, she'll never came out and say complete ban, but recommends that no one goes abroad during the October break. So if anything, that's an indicator that you're going to get more people from Scotland wanting to stay in Scotland or do some activity or stay at a self-catering accommodation or any accommodation. So it's hopefully that will then spur on some more bookings already for the area as well.
Yeah, exactly that. I think if there's a crumb of good in there, it's almost a 3-line whip not to go abroad in the October holidays. So that should serve us pretty well.
So I think I see a question there before I come on. Oh, Claire, fantastic session this morning. As a new business owner, I found this extremely useful. No, thank you. I'm glad to hear that. But I think was it Lisa? So this wasn't about videos. This was more about Google. Google reviews you mentioned last week. This has been very helpful to me too. But I struggle to even access the account. Not sure if this is just me or if this is an issue with Google My Business. I'm not too sure what you mean by accessing the accounts. No, if it's logging in. No, usually it's just attached to your own Google account in terms of that. But if you want to email me separately, Lucy, and give me more specifics, like chris@tourismmarketing.agency, feel free to do so. If there's anything I can help you out with, just let me know, and if you give me more specifics, I can maybe help you out from there. Okay. Colin, many years ago, we learned how to lay out printed material. We were advised to collect examples of material and quickly appraise them. 10-second max, instant impression. What did you like or not like? If possible, put them into 2 folders for future reference. Still use that technique to learn. Yeah, great technique. And that's what to do with video as well. If there's video you like, bookmark that somewhere, take a copy of the link, make a little note of why you like it, and just go back to it, like creating little mood boards of videos, that type of thing. It's really great just for seeing an inspiration and just remembering something. And there's a little, if you're using a Mac, I think it's available on the PC. There's online tools that you can use for this as well. But I use a tool called iTube Downloader, which allows you to input the YouTube URL and then download the video. So you can download pretty much any YouTube video. So that will allow you to then store that somewhere in a folder, so you can always go back and reference it. Just in case if you have a link, they may take the video offline or whatever that would be. It allows you to download a YouTube video and keep that for future reference for yourself. So that's just a little tip there. You can use a tool like that. There's other tools available that does a similar thing. Similar with Facebook, there's tools online. If you do a search, download Facebook video, you can do the same to download some Facebook videos as well. Let's see if there's any more questions. I think that might be it. We'll give it a minute or two. If anyone's got any questions, please feel free. If not, then hopefully you've learned a lot from it. I look forward to the Facebook one next week.
Brilliant. I'm looking forward to the Facebook one next week as well, because I guess Facebook again has changed again this week. Certainly the one I'm having to look. And we now have a creator studio and all kinds of whizzy buttons and new things that it wants us to use.
Yeah, Creative Studio has always been there. Allows you to create ads to see what they're like before you publish them and that type of thing. But it was sort of hidden away. But I think they're trying to make it more to the fore. Don't get me wrong. The changes in Facebook, a lot of them I do like. I think the new look I prefer, to be honest. It's just getting used to it. But the business manager side of things has still got a few things not quite right. And trying to access your pages and that type of thing from the new look of Facebook is still a bit of a nightmare. So they've still got a bit of work to do on Facebook, but the actual ad manager side of things has got better. But again, they change it every few weeks, and once you get used to one thing, and they change it again.
That's right. Yeah, I've noticed that this week.
Yeah. Thank you so much for valuable information. Thank you, Lucy. Colin, any recommended sources for accompanying music? Yeah, so the one that I mentioned there was called Audio Jungle. I think it's audiojungle.com. Allows you to buy lots of music, everything from a few dollars up to $30 at the most, probably $40 at the very, very most. But you'll easily find music for $5 to $10, $15 maybe. No, that one I used for the Curiosity video was $24. So you can buy royalty free. You'll be able to find hip hop, jazz, ambient, motivational music, anything you can think of is all on there. Just finding the right one, and then you can actually download samples. So you can download a sample which has a little watermark of someone saying Audio Jungle, but we're all the way through it. That allows you to then see if, when you're editing footage, to see if that audio suits what you're trying to do. And then once you're happy with it, you can then go off and then buy the music. Because you don't want to buy music and then find out it's maybe not quite fitting what you want to do. So you can download samples, edit to that, and then go off and buy it to then reinsert into your video. So